Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Our next guest is a former member of the multi-platinum award-winning group Nappy Roots. Early this year, he released his book, Grams to Grammys, How Ryan Prophet Went from Selling Grams to Being Nominated for Grammys. He joins us tonight to discuss the book, as well as his experience with police brutality. Please help me welcome the very talented Mr. R. Prophet. Welcome to the show.
All right. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So look, we all going through this pandemic. We got the race riots and everything, or protests. How are you doing with all that?
Well, it's just a crazy time, just in general, with so much going on. I mean, I'm raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Just a couple of days ago, there was a young guy that got shot.
Yeah.
Out there protesting. So it's become like, very sketchy on if you even want to go out and protest, because
exactly
you don't know if anybody's going to start shooting. You got agitators that might just be shooting to start some extra stuff. I don't know. It's wild, man.
It is. Well, let's go back to your run-in with the law. This is 2013. Now, what the police had said was that you were highly intoxicated. You're walking in the street, put you in the car, you kicked out tell us what happened. What do you remember from that night?
I remember.
Hold on real quick. You actually hit mute.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Right, so what do you remember from that night? What do you remember from that night? Go ahead.
Oh, so ultimately I was hosting a show that night, and I had my partner driving, so I was just a passenger, mind you. So, I had some drinks, but I'm a passenger.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I can have a couple of drinks. So we got stopped at a checkpoint where they were stopping each car and whatnot. My driver ended up letting them know that he had a couple of drinks or whatever. So they put us over to the curb or whatever, and told us to go to the curb, and they blew him, and he blew over. He was intoxicated as a driver, right? So I'm like, damn, that's kind of messed up. But hey, I'm a passenger, so I'll be fine. So
right,
no matter what I've drank. So ultimately, the police officer comes to my side, and he's asking me who I am, and I let him know who I was. I apologize about that. It's a you can kind of get a pass. They'll treat you a little nice once they find out, hey, there's profit in that.
Yeah.
But no, not in this case, man. It was actually a bad thing. So,
did they know who you were when you told them who you were? Did they know who you were?
I was told that there had been other people stopped at the checkpoint because people were coming from an event that I was a part of, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess just how God made it that night that, okay, well, here he go, So they get me out the car, and, as I'm walking, they take me to between two police cars, and they say, oh, so you the rapper everybody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I knew right then that, okay, things probably ain't gonna go that well for me, because I initially thought, I was like, okay, well, maybe you think I'm some gangster rapper or something like that.
Right.
They all have their stereotypes about rappers.
Right. Yeah.
Mainly bad. But so, man, they put me between these two cars and told me to take off my hat. I took off my hat. Told me to take off my jacket. I took off my jacket. Told me to take off my shoes. I took off my shoes. Told me to take off my socks. I took off my socks. Told me to take off my pants. I took off my pants. I'm there on
they
the
had you down to your drawers and your t-shirt.
To my boxes and my t-shirt and my diamonds, right? So when Kanye West talk about some blood diamonds,
yeah,
I end up having blood diamonds for real.
Yeah.
So and then they told me to turn them, and then after they had me barefoot standing there, they handcuffed me after that and told me to turn around. I turned around, man. It's 5 officers. There's one officer put out his gun, and he pointed at me, and he says, "Mr. Anthony, if you don't comply, I'm going to be forced to tase you." I'm standing there barefoot with my hands behind my back, cuffed, in my little tank top t-shirt.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. He says it again. Now he's talking into his mic over here. Mr. Anthony, if you don't comply, I'm going to be forced to tase you. I'm like, man, what are you doing? I don't understand. Why are you doing that? He says it again. Obviously, what I learned, that he was talking into his mic and trying to act as if something was going on.
Yeah.
Everything like he's crazy. On the third time after that, he just shoots me. I dropped.
With the taser?
I hit the concrete, and next thing you know, man, I just kept getting tased and tased and tased. And I think at some point, I lost consciousness, but I thought I was dead, So, there I am. And I remember just my last thoughts. I'm like, damn, I'm about to die. And, I see these visions come to my head, and I'm thinking, like, I can't believe it's just about to end just like this. Like,
right.
And I just told myself, damn, they treat me like a slave, because I'm remembering that I'm
I saw you felt like you were a slave. And you had a lot of bruises on you. How did the bruises happen?
Yeah, man. They whooped the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying?
This was after you were handcuffed or prior to that, or?
After I was handcuffed, that's when everything happened.
Okay.
They made me take off all my clothes.
Right.
I guess humiliate me.
Right.
And, just to show, oh, well, you ain't nobody special.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in Kentucky is not, shit. At that time, there had been no rap artists ever to come out of the state. So you can imagine, very well known. So they knew who Nappy Roots was.
Right, exactly.
So, they was jealous. So, yeah, all this happened, man. I'm handcuffed and whatnot. They end up, I guess I came to, and they end up hog tying me, man. So hog tying, for those that don't know that, that's where your hands are behind your back and you're handcuffed to your ankles, so you just flip. So it was just like they kept tasing me and tasing me, beat the shit out of me, excuse me. And they end up, getting me in a police car and whatnot. Now, mind you, they said that I kicked the window out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't kick a window out if you're hog tied, can you?
Right, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
so
yeah.
all that was just bullshit lies. And I seen a lot of people on TMZ, thousands and thousands, saying, oh, well, he must have did something. Well, see, a lot of those were white people. And they don't realize all you have to do is be black.
Yep.
And then add on it a young black successful guy.
Exactly.
They want to show you not nobody special.
Yeah.
And they tried to take my life, man. So, I survived. Thank God. Like I said.
So what did you ever press charges against them? Did anything happen from that?
Yeah. I pressed charges on them. And it was a fiasco. I had to go through I hired 4 or 5 different lawyers.
Yeah.
Each one was trying to railroad me, to pleading guilty. I'm like, nah. And once I got to jail, man, it was a crazy scene because, I didn't realize how tore up I was until somehow I mustered up the strength in the cell, in the holding cell with all these other people in.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and I looked in the mirror, and that's when it hit me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why everybody in here is looking at me crazy. You could tell people felt really bad for me.
Right.
And I looked, man, that's when I started crying. I said, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to be on TV again.
Yeah.
My career was over because the way that I looked, my head was lopsided. They rocked me pretty good. So, it was kind of like a movie, man. Once they took me out of the holding cell, I guess people that had been taken to their cell prior to me had let people know that our prophet of Nappy Roots is here and the police beat him up. So when they taken me to my cell finally, he was banging on the walls, man, singing my songs. I felt like Muhammad Ali. I'm like,
yeah,
this is crazy. So, it was just a heck of an experience. Matter of fact, when it was fingerprint me after hours, one of the guys that was in line in front of me, he was like, yeah, I knew one of y'all was in here. I'm like, well, how'd you know? He was like, because when they was locking me up, I heard it on the radio, and he said, yeah, we got one of those Nappy Root boys.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So they had been wanting one of us.
Yeah.
So it happened to be me.
So when you see these recent, it seems like the last 4 or 5 years, although it's been happening for at least 30 years plus, when you see these recent, like with George Floyd, and Rayshard Brooks. What when you see that, does that take you back to when you were going through your experience?
Without a doubt, man. I mean, it makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
It makes me, you know, it gets me really
I
angry.
can imagine.
It gets, you know, I was diagnosed with PTSD, you know.
After
so
that.
This is something that will never go away.
No.
When I see what another brother, another sister like Breonna Taylor and Lil going through, like the families, I can imagine, because I'm here to able to say what happened.
Right. You can tell the story. Yeah.
Fortunately, George Floyd, you know, there was a camera.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of brothers and sisters where police said anything happened, and you don't really even know what really happened because they can't tell their side of the story. Because them people put out that crazy story, if people understand that I was hogtied, there was no way that I could kick out a window. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, I was watching this documentary actually today about one of the black men that was murdered, you know, by police. And so they had a person come and do an internal investigation, and they said one thing. This was Chicago PD, that the first thing they do once there's a killing or something like that, they don't break the police up. They all get to collaborate their story, and then they tell it. So with this particular situation, there were a lot of discrepancies based on the evidence, but everyone had the same story. So they knew that it was something they all came up with to cover each other.
Yeah, and what's consistent when you're a victim of police brutality, all of them write the same charges.
Yeah.
This is what I came to understand. And the biggest charge that they put on your record, or the citation ticket or whatever, is they put that you was assaulting the officer.
Yeah.
So that's justify why they whooped you that bad, why they try to take your life. Like I said, I was tased 15 times.
15 times, yeah.
It's not a lot of people that survive being tased 15 times. Shot me dead.
People have gotten heart attacks from being tased, and
it's very rare that a person is able. So it's like, so with that one, you know, they'll put a whole bunch of misdemeanors, but then they'll put a assaulting the officer charge, which, you know, you can face 3 to 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And so you like, well, damn, all I gotta do is plead guilty, and then, you know, maybe I can get, I can get off or whatever.
Right.
But I said, man, once I went to jail and people was coming in, you know, I guess, you know, I'm highly revered or whatnot, and people was telling me these stories about how the police in this particular area had been terrorizing them. And it wasn't just black people.
Yeah.
They were just taking advantage. It was a lot of white people that didn't have no money.
Yeah.
So when you go through something like that, and you can't really fight the charge, a lot of people don't have money to fight these charges.
You don't even know where to go, how to go about doing it.
Yeah. You're scared. It's like, damn, I might get 3 to 5 years, but if I just plead guilty, then it'll be all good. I said, once I understood that all these other guys had, you know, they had a lot of stories, I'm like, that's when I realized, man, you know what, this is bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I said, man, nah, I'm not pleading nothing. I didn't do nothing. They did this just because I'm me.
Well, you are right.
So, it went to the grand jury, and guess what? The grand jury found no true bill. That means this guy didn't assault no officers.
Yeah.
And how can you justify my face being lopsided and I'm tased 15 times?
Yeah.
If this man didn't assault no officer.
Right. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So if people look into the case, you know, you'll see that they wrote 2 or 3 different documents as to what happened, because I guess they couldn't figure out, damn, how we gonna handle this man? He ain't just no, you know.
Right.
You know, like we got a little fight on our hands.
Yeah.
So, you know, they put it, I guess they acted first and put out this story, you know, oh, he was totally intoxicated. I was intoxicated, but shit, that's no crime. I'm a pastor.
Right, exactly.
It don't justify what y'all did to me. If I didn't assault no officer, why did y'all do this to me?
Exactly. Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So when you see the protests now, after George Floyd, for me, I always think it was a perfect storm between us being locked in the house for months, and then we see this man murdered on film. I think it was a perfect storm for the protests that we saw, not only nationwide but globally. When you see that, and we see a lot of different races and ethnicities out there, do you think that now we'll see real change, or do you think we still have a way to go?
Well, ultimately, I'm sure you know that question,
Right.
but we got a long way to
Yeah,
go, right?
yeah.
Because with the institutional racism, man, even though we have a lot of different ethnicities, appearing to be with us right now, I imagine things will continue to be the same because there has to be changes within the police system where these officers know, you know what, if I kill this brother or sister, I'm gonna face some real charges,
Exactly.
and they're gonna put me in prison, and them prisoners gonna tear me the fuck up. So I'm not gonna kill this person. I'm not gonna beat this person up. It's definitely a lot of things that have to be done because many police have no regard for Black lives. Like they, just because we seen the thing where it happened to George Floyd, terrible thing on camera, but this stuff happens very often.
Yeah, and
Many stories
even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people I mean, you can ask 3 Black people, and one of them knows somebody, if not themselves, that's been beat up by police.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, wow, now everybody's in an uprise. Okay,
Right.
well, y'all been seeing this. What makes this different? I'm not sure. It's good to see, but I don't really know where your heart's at. I was talking to a person. Well, I made Trump put a tweet out a few days ago, and his video was where guys on there chanting "White Power."
White
right?
power. Yeah.
So I was like,
And he
man,
supposedly didn't hear when it's the loudest thing on the video. But go ahead.
that was the only thing. Like,
right.
that was the clearest thing on there. You heard rah, 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 rah,
Yeah.
white power, white power, yeah, white power.
Yeah.
So okay, you just can't hide your racism. So there's a white guy on there, and he wrote back, well, it's the same thing as you guys saying Black power. I said, no, incorrect, young man. White power is something that's not only a statement, but it has been exerted and active in all laws, from Jim Crow to the hangings to all, to everything that's been going on. And finally, in the 50s or 60s, brothers and sisters said, man, hold on. It's time to rise up, and we want to be treated equal.
Right.
So that is a reaction, and we have no power. You look up Black power, and you're going to see it says, it's a movement that mainly began in the 50s or 60s. Well, we've been going through this oppression, being hung, them throwing our babies to be bait for alligators, tied to horses, 4 different horses, where one arm goes this way, the other arm goes that way, leg goes that way. I'm like, nah, brother, that's not the same.
Yeah.
We don't have any power. You guys have been living with you guys' privilege and the things that y'all have done, even with the Constitution Declaration saying that we 3/5 of a man.
Right.
So it's
in
just
2020.
like,
yeah.
So it's just like, come on, man, y'all, think right, man. 5 minutes later, after our back and forth, man, he erased his comment.
Yeah. Now, there was this dude I went to school with, a white guy, and he used to always comment on my stuff on Facebook, comment on my stuff. People be going in on him. And he inboxed me as a friend, which we weren't friends, but as a friend and an African American. Can I ask you these questions? So he was acting like he was trying to reason with me. But I was thinking the other day, he ain't comment on nothing I posted in a minute. I went and saw he blocked me.
Right. Yeah, it's some interesting people out here, man.
It really is.
Yeah, I don't know.
What would you tell people? We're gonna get into the book, but what would you tell people? Because we have a lot of white and other race allies that want to be able to do something they want to. Like they're out there protesting, they're out there getting hurt, getting shot by these rubber bullets by the police. What would you tell them the thing they can do to really be a true ally to the Black Lives Matter or to the Black cause?
Well, I would tell them to continue to march, continue to fight, empower those who have the same views as they seem to have all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And those, they have a lot of power because they come in a lot of numbers. So, force the police, your police departments in all these areas that you live to be held accountable. Yeah. Make sure you put the pressure on commissioners and all the people that runs the legal systems, that we are able to get similar. I'm just asking for similar. Like, we don't get nothing close to, the same charges that a brother get, and then a white person get. Yep. It is very much different. Yeah. So, I would ask them, man, to continue or try to get people that will implement legislative laws to where the police are held accountable more, and actually put their money where their mouth is. Don't just be a part of a march and a protest. Come to some of these communities that need some help, do some volunteer work, because it's not just police, we dealing with, those police come from families too, mm-hmm. So they're being taught these things when they were young. So, right. Don't just be out there for a march. Come and holler at us at the boys club. Just come and be a part and let people know that, all y'all not devils.
Right, exactly. Well, you document your encounter, the 2013 encounter, in your book Grams of Grammy. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, ultimately, I had always had a yearning to write a book because, I have, me and my brother, we started a program years ago, and we were teaching, we were let into the Jefferson Community College, and we're teaching kids from 6 years old all the way to up to 18 years old to read. Like, believe it or not, there's still some kids out there that don't know how to read even at 15 and 16, right? So me and my brother, we always had this dream to, maybe run a school one day or whatnot. But, I wanted to inspire. Everybody wants to be a rapper, but I'm thinking to myself, we had more authors, you know what I'm saying? And so it was just a natural thing to me. It's like, I want to birth more authors, even though I'm a rapper. And I knew that, it takes, you got to show by example. Yeah. And once I hooked up with my team, Melinda and Leon, they were like, wow, you really have an interesting story, from you being raised in Oakland, born in Oakland and raised in Kentucky. And all the things that you've been through is incredible that, you've been able to do so many different things. So I took the time. I said, hey, okay, it's that time. And I wrote the book, man. And next thing you know, we put it out and I was #1 new bestseller.
Congratulations on that. Congratulations on that. Well, you talk about in the book about social injustice, substance abuse, and mental health issues that do impact the minority, Black and Brown communities. So, can you talk about that and how, because I don't think people, they see it and they hear about it, but they don't understand really how deep-rooted it is in our communities. Can you talk about that just briefly?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't know just because of the places that we live, man, and, the conditions that we live in. Many of us has been traumatized before we even know we've been traumatized. Yeah. Like, so, it's just like the norm. Mm-hmm. Like, again, I've been diagnosed with PTSD. So, something like this is always going to stay with me. So I can speak on it from a particular sense, personally, with reaching the heights that I've reached and, God willing, continue to do more. It's a very serious issue. Depression is just, it's incredible. Like, and then you think about it, it's a lot of brothers and sisters that don't have a father in their life. Mm-hmm. So they have an imbalance. They're not taught, some of the other things that's necessary to become a man, which winds up end up having woman relations and domestic disputes
Comes out
because
in all different parts of your life. Yeah.
yeah, in so many different ways, and it's just like it's a very serious thing. And you know, I was fortunate. My parents been married, I think, over 40 years now.
Oh yeah. That's
So
dope.
I've always wanted that for myself, but I had that example of a great
Right.
father,
Exactly.
right? So you know, it's just so many different things that we affected by, and we don't know why we wilding out, but we just haven't been taught in many instances the proper ways to go about living, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, if you know the conditions that Black people particularly live in is just very hard, man. It's very
No.
hard just from the start.
Most definitely, most definitely. You also talk about going from eating in the hood with your homies to eating with the elite. So let me ask you that: how was that transition for you once you started getting to these bigger tables and eating this fine cuisine? How was that for you? Like when it first started happening for you?
Well, it was awesome. It was everything that I dreamed. I
Yeah,
always dreamed of becoming, I guess, quote unquote, famous ever since I can remember.
yeah,
And you know, I would ride on a school bus. I mean, I would ride on a like public transit and whatever, the bus, and thinking to myself, you know, I'm 5, 6 years old with my brother. He's 8, 9.
hmm
And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, these people don't even know who they sitting next to.
You already knew it, huh? You already knew it at a young
And,
age. Yeah,
you know, so I think there's something to that, you know, just particularly. So it happened for me. You know, God put me in different situations, you know, from poor to, you know, being able to take care of myself and family members that, you know, I'm able to speak about a lot of different
yeah,
things that, you know, that many people can only desire. Like I
right.
tell you a quick story, man. Let's see here. Uh, in Kentucky, Barack Obama, he was coming to Kentucky.
Okay.
So somehow I guess people knew my publicist. They hit my publicist. She hit me. She say, yeah, Barack Obama want to meet y'all. He wants y'all to come and, you know, come perform to make sure some people show up to his rally.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn, shit, man, we go. You know, I hit the rest of the group members. I'm like, hey, man, Barack want to meet us, man. And so we go and we get to meet Barack Obama.
it's
You know, so
crazy.
it's like, I don't know. I've had some just amazing
Yeah,
moments.
yeah,
Like, but I still think I kept it really a real good relationship amongst my community because I could be with those people.
right,
But later on, you know, I'm still a brother. Later on, I'll be in the hood. I might be at the strip joint. No
right.
problem.
Yeah,
Y'all just see me on the news with, you know what I'm saying?
that's what it is, though.
So it used to trip people out. It's like, dog, this dude's on a whole nother level. And it was like I was, you know, that's what I was with the group. Like it was like, you know, you gonna see Prophet. Like it don't matter if you seen him with, you know, you never know. But Prophet, I've always been grounded like that to
Yeah,
a
yeah,
person.
that's important. So finally, what do you want when people read the book and they finish it? What do you want the takeaway to be for them?
Well, I hope that I inspire younger people to know that no matter where you come from, what you've been through, it is still very possible to make it. You
Yeah,
know, trust in God and believe in yourself, even when other people you may feel don't.
right.
Uh, you probably still got a few people that's praying for you, and you never would know.
You never know. Yeah,
Yeah, surround yourself with some great people. You know, believe in yourself. I'm a dreamer. You know,
mm,
you know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. Uh, and that's like a challenge to me. Like, damn, what am I going to do next?
right.
Like, I'm literally asking
Especially
myself.
when you accomplish so much so young. You know what I mean?
So I'm like, okay, well, okay, what's the next song I'm gonna make?
Right.
I don't know right now. Like a lot of people are making songs like Black Lives Matter, you know, the stuff, and I'm just like, okay, that's cool and that's awesome. You know, some
Right.
really good songs out there. You like to see that people's about the movement, but you know, I'm partial to that because I feel like it's a trend for many people. It's
Right.
it's the way I've lived. I'm a
Yeah.
victim, you know, like I
Yeah.
came away with my life, so I can't just write no song for the matter of it being trendy.
Right.
So
Right.
again, I would just hope that people understand that I've been through some really life uh, changing experiences and came out still, you know, still battling and just like everyone else. and just trying to become a better person. So I hope people be able to look at some of my life events and understand that, you know, I was able to accomplish some pretty cool things and still working on myself, trying to become better.
Most definitely. Well, the book is called Grams to Grammys, how Ryan Prophet went from selling grams to being nominated for Grammys. Well, thank you, man, so much for joining the show and sharing your stories. Definitely inspiring. Everyone get the book. It's available now. We'll have a link in our bio. And for more information, go to our website, thestephenknightshow.com. Right back after this.
All right. Thank you, brother. Hey, man, I really enjoyed this.
Enjoyed me too.